Hello, everybody. What is going on here? The Pedro and Hannibal podcast. I'll tell you the truth right now, guys. Uh, we were kind of looking at some news that's happening right now as we speak, and it kind of killed the vibe.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna come here and gloat about the Giants going to playoffs, but right now it don't seem to be that big of a deal right now. This is currently happening as we speak. I was just watching the Bills and the Bengals game. I had it on the background on my TV, and it saw a hit. Damar Hamlin, cornerback for the Bills, took a routine hit. He was on defense, and you see the footage. He pops back up after the hit, and then immediately falls back on his he like something pushed him down.
Hannibal. I have video. Should you want to play that? Should we not? I have it. I can send it to you. What do you think?
You could share it. Is on your phone, or you have it on your?
I have it as a video. I have it. Somebody sent it to me, and I could share it with you if you want to put it up. Maybe should we not do that? I don't know. This is all live. I know
it's all live, and I'm gonna try to look for it over here.
Okay,
I'll
send you what I have.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This is.
Yeah. So right now, they suspended the game. Right now, they're still not on the field. I'm looking at the coverage right now. People are crying. It took too long.
Let me see.
Yeah, you can say it. It took too long for everything to kind of come together. So usually, even when someone takes a really bad hit, usually maybe if it's a knockout or some kind of really bad injury, they'll have a TV timeout to go to commercials. They went to probably 3 to 4 commercials.
Dasher Poppy just said they called it game suspended.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
This is there's a lot here.
Yeah, there's a lot. Listen,
this is a 24-year-old young man, and it's like clearly that's on the forefront, right? But yeah. I think we would be lying to ourselves if a lot of people will gloss over that if they don't play this game for other reasons. And I think it. Unfortunately, we're gonna,
Yeah.
I just hope he pulls through. Otherwise, I think this is gonna be kind of messy for different reasons.
And I appreciate everyone that coming in just to talk about this. Because it kind of killed my whole vibe when I was looking at this. I wasn't worried about anything else. I'm like, this kid can't go. He can't go like this. And Dasher Poppy, I agree. And listening to the commentators, like, yeah, I've been in the game. Most of them are former players. Like, I've never seen this before. What is going on? And if you want to go on Twitter and see some goddamn conspiracy theories.
Are you serious? Really?
Oh, wow. Oh, heavily.
I bet.
About the jab. And when you see the hit.
The jab, really?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Pages gave me the footage.
I see what you're saying because he's vaccinated.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's just where we are right now. That's where we are right now. That's the nature of, how quickly the messages are coming through. I was going to ask you the question too. If you were in that position,
man,
would you? I mean, they suspended it, and you saw Stephon Gibbs was trying to hype his troops up, like because he was like, we gotta, he was. I'll be honest, I don't know if he was hyping his troops up. He may have said, we can't play. I don't know, but
I really like the team. Side note, I like Stephon Diggs a lot.
Oh yeah, big fan.
A big fan of Diggs.
It's really hard not to like the Bills.
It is. Even the quarterback, the coach. There isn't anybody on that team that isn't just. Anyways, I didn't know about this till Hannibal. My phone was blowing up on my fantasy football group text, but I wasn't paying attention because I'm not in the championship game. But these guys blowing up, and I just see like 50 messages, and now I know why. So I don't know, man. This is I'm worried because I think that. With all the fantasy football, the playoffs, both these teams, it's suspended.
Two good teams. Like this is good.
I think if this young man, I hope he pulls through because if not, I think a lot of people are going to be not looking at this in a way that they should. I could be wrong, but I understand if you're telling me what's going on Twitter. I can't imagine what's happening in fantasy football forums. People they're mad. What happened? And they're not thinking about this young man that just had CPR performed on him in the middle of a field. I mean,
yeah. I would give respect to all the news sources, like watching on ESPN. They immediately did not care about the game. They were like, "This is not important." They're worried about this young man. No breakdown of the game. They really were focused on this because it doesn't happen. Hector had an interesting comment. Appreciate you guys for coming in, guys. This is why I believe one day the NFL will not exist anymore.
What do you mean, Hector? Because of the violency of it, or why do you say that? What do you think he means?
NFL is I would say, NFL is the most violent sport. And I know a lot. You know what? It's that in boxing. I always said that. Even UFC
with the CTE or whatever.
Because you get too many hits to your body in football and boxing. Boxing, a lot of punches to the head. That's not good for your brain. MMA, there's a little bit more, as a little bit of everything. And then eventually, if you get knocked out too many times, then they're gonna let you put you back in anyway. But NFL is a very violent sport. He may have just got hit really hard in that chest, but
it was like the wind knocked out of him, but like in a way that he lost his breath and his heart didn't. If you're administering CPR, that means they're not breathing on their own. Am I right in thinking that, or am I wrong?
Yeah, okay. From the last thing I've seen, and I know a few guys, like, they're gonna probably have an official statement. He has a pulse, but he's not breathing on his own, and they rushed him to the hospital. So he's gonna probably have to be administered, obviously they're able to breathe. I don't know. I wonder if he has any prior.
That's what I was just going to ask.
Health issues.
Yeah. You know how sometimes you have a prior health issue, or I think, remember, the basketball player, Chris Bosh, right? He had some heart failure things going on, and a doctor basically told him, hey, you got to stop. Otherwise you might die on the court. Like, it's a possibility.
Right.
So he had to stop playing basketball a little bit before I think he wanted to.
Yeah, of course. He was still one of the best.
He was still
power forwards,
right? So I wonder if this kid has some kind of family history with something. Maybe something wasn't caught, and this particular way that his body hit the other guy's body, and then he lands down on him with a lot of force. I wonder if that had something.
It's possible. I know one of my really good friends. I consider him like a brother. He had heart problems. He did not know until he fell ill. I remember dropping him off at, we doing our usual drinking a lot at the bar, dropped him off at his house. Then a day, maybe a couple hours later, he had to go to the emergency room. He realized that one of his valves was blocked. He did not know. He never, because a lot of those issues with your heart, if you're not, and a lesson for all of us, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Damar Hamlin, and hopefully he pulls through. If you don't go to the doctor, get routine checks with your body, especially your heart, things can pop up and you don't know. And I was talking to you, obviously, in the backstage before we started. They have the best doctors in the world. These multi-million-dollar facilities.
And they have nutritionists and all the, so these guys are taken care of, and a lot of them will even take care of themselves off. They'll do extra off.
Exactly. LeBron spends $1 million on his body.
Yeah.
It's but sometimes you don't find everything on a person, right? Unless usually you go to a doctor because something has happened, right? Like, I don't feel well, or maybe how often do we do routine checkups? I'll be honest right now. I don't remember the last time I was going to say,
when was the last time you had them? I have them a little more regularly than the average person my age, because I have type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I do certain things I probably shouldn't, but I do regulate myself in a positive way and get checked up regularly just to make sure I'm good with the A1C levels and glucose. And, I have to check my extremities. Like, there's things, my feet, my hand, my eye checks. But as far as and I could probably do more though. I basically do every three to 4 months. I should probably do it every 2 or 3. But it is what it is. But I think you're right. We don't, as men, I think we don't do that enough because we think we're like, once again, that pride and ego, or we think, we'll be fine, we'll be okay, we'll rub some dirt on it. We got to get ourselves checked out.
I had the thought of getting my stuff together. I have the insurance. It's just busy, or it's not even busy. You don't think it's important. Like, I don't think it's important enough because I feel fine. But definitely this year, definitely gonna be taking that more seriously, because you never know. Like, sometimes things get, if the doctor can find something that can save your life potentially, put you in a different direction. Hey, you probably shouldn't be eating this, or you shouldn't be consuming that because it can can seriously get you damaged. But yeah, when you go on Twitter, tons and tons of jab talk, tons and tons, and I feel like some people are looking for something
a reason to bring that up.
Because how divided we are.
How divided one side. Yeah, it's
and there's a documentary. It's a really controversial one. It's called "Died Suddenly." I didn't watch it yet, but the premise of that documentary is that they're saying that people are passing away unexpectedly, and a lot of this has something to do with the jab. I haven't watched it.
I have not seen or heard. I've seen some things about how people are saying, oh, if you didn't get the jab, you're like better. You got pure blood. Like you see these crazy little memes, these cute videos where like in 20 years, women are going to be like fawning over men that didn't get the jab, and they're going to be, like high dollar value people and like all this and all that. But like, I haven't seen the conspiracy stuff necessarily that you're talking about,
Yeah, it depends on how deep in the rabbit hole you want to go and to read and see this kind of stuff. Random Ryan. Damn, a kid died from drinking too much water when football practice.
I remember some story. There was a Vikings player about 15 years ago or so. He was an offensive lineman, and during training camp, he died. I remember that story. He was, and I don't know if it was a dehydration issue or something else, but and since then, there's a rule now where you can only practice for so long, and they've instituted some safety measures for players. After that happened, I can't remember his name. Corey Stringer, I think his name was. And he was like 22, 23, super young. I don't know if you guys remember that guy or not.
Yeah. And Skip Bayless provided a really I'll show you the tweet. You let me know how it goes. And this was 43 minutes ago. I'm gonna pop it up on the screen.
You say Skip Bayless?
Skip Bayless. He's already trending because he probably too fast of a take.
I'm not a big fan of Skip Bayless.
Too fast of a take. He wrote, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game, but how? This late in the season, a game this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was afraid of. That something like that, because he's not thinking of this kid. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's
and it's 9:30, but that's still too early to like. You should really. But that's the problem with our social media. We need to respond as fast as possible. Yeah. And you don't even have all the information yet. Like that kid could have died. It's possible a kid died or dying right now.
He's talking about this.
Yeah. The game,
like just saying, sending my prayers to the young man. I hope for him and his family. I hope he's doing okay. Yeah. That would have been a more appropriate thing to say, Skip Bayless. This is the reason why I don't like him. I
don't watch it. I tried to watch it. It's for a few months. I've stopped watching a lot of those first take, hot take sports shows. They're not breaking down the game.
Yeah.
I'm sure they know the game, but they're looking for the ratings, so they think, let me say the most outrageous things possible.
You're right.
And, if the person they don't know if the person's gonna live or die, the game doesn't matter. They could find ways to reschedule. They could figure out some way to.
They're gonna play the game, guys. There's not that will happen if they have to push back something, reschedule, they can do that, right? So the game should be like what's important right now, because that stuff will work itself out,
Yeah, 2020 proved that things could get suspended and gets restarted again. They can push the whole thing back a week to regroup because they were going to try to play the game. Yeah. And again, I think Stefan Diggs, I think he was trying to rally the troops. I saw some of that footage. But then I think either the officials in New York, because you know how the NFL is, they have their officials, but they have like the main office in New York that watches all the games, kind of supersedes. They supersedes everybody. They were like, this never happened before. Let's go back in the locker room and then figure this out. Because I think they wanted to have an official word of, like, let's say, for instance, and I wish this would happen. He comes to, he's breathing on his own. He has all the extremities. they would go back out and play. And if they would have figured it out sooner than later, that would have.
But could you imagine he doesn't pull through? They're out there playing a football game, and his teammate. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just a lot. There's a lot to. I think there's maybe arguments on both sides. I don't know, but at the end, like when something like this happens, I think earlier somebody said, "I've never seen anything like this," and you said the commentators were saying that. Administering CPR, we see guys getting carted off. We see them maybe a neck brace. Right. We see all carried off. We see that kind of stuff. We've seen Joe Theismann back in the day. Lawrence Taylor basically broke his whole fibula, his whole leg in half. Yeah. We've seen that, but then you realize, okay, he's not dying. No, possibly, right? There's a difference there, right? So when something like this happens, you got to pause and kind of reflect a little bit. And even as players, how do you go back out there and play? These guys are all brothers, man. Right? Yeah. These guys
many of them were getting emotional because it was taking too long. And then when you see someone perform CPR for 10 minutes, first of all, that is not good. Yeah. That is not good. That is some brain. It's not getting the proper blood and oxygen through. And, again, I don't want to guess. I'm not a doctor, but when you see someone you care about being having CPR for several minutes, you start to freak out. You're like, this is not good. Ryan says, to be honest, NFL didn't resume games because of optics. I think. And you know what? That's good. If they worried about optics, they should, because the only thing I could kind of think of, and it's kind of related, but not really, because the WWE is not, so it's not real. But they are athletes, and they really put their bodies online. I remember this many, many years ago. Owen Hart. Actually, my mom brought me that pay-per-view. It was, I think, the Valentine's Day Massacre. They put these names on WWE. And one of the, I guess, I forgot what Owen Hart's thing was, but
he was part of a crew or a posse or something, right? Wasn't he part of? He was something.
He had a couple of fractions, but I think this one was he had a mask on. They didn't tell him what he was yet, but it was Owen Hart, and his bit was he'll come down from the rafters. He strapped himself and he'll come down the rafters. A few people did that. Sting for WCW. It's a common thing. Shawn Michaels did it. Problem is, in this situation, the straps weren't on him properly, and he fell from the rafters into the ring. They administer CPR. They take him out. They take him to the emergency, obviously to the hospital. The man dies. They continue with the wrestling show. Vince McMahon thought it was good to continue with the show because in his mind, it's pay-per-view. Can't cancel it. And
hundreds of millions of dollars probably at that point, right?
And it was the most awkward show. There was no enthusiasm. You see the commentators crying. They trying to call a performance after they knew that their friend died. That was not a good look. So I'm wondering.
You can't. Yeah. How do you watch the game as a fan? How do you play it as a player? How do you coach it? How do you call that game? But knowing what just happened, and we all, that's all you're going to be able to talk about. So the game at that point becomes like not that important. It's a game, right? We love football. We talk about football. We talk about football here, but it's a game. So at the end of the day, like, think about his mom. Think about
he has a kid.
His significant other, his child. Like, think about his dad. Like, they're probably at the game, or they're definitely watching the game. Think about seeing your dad like collapse on the field. I mean, it's bigger than football,
Yeah. Someone wrote in a response to Skip. He said, "My brother in Christ, put down your phone. Like, just put the phone down." Because you're just coming across like a complete asshole. So they suspended the game, and he is listed as critical condition. That's what ESPN popped on my phone. That's
number 3.
That's him.
Number 3. Okay.
Yeah, that's him, showing a little bit of. He's a good dude.
I don't know much about him. I don't. He's not on my radar as far as like a superstar player, but he's in the league and he's playing. He's obviously legit,
on a really great team.
Really good team.
Fantastic really good defense. Defense. So he's his cornerback. So he's definitely a very important part of it. It is. Yeah. But he kind of, hopefully, he makes it, and You know, I mean, you got to make it, but you never know.
And I just saw that sign. Can you put that back up? I don't know if you guys are that one. Okay. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Buffalo does a fantastic job as a fan base collecting like for charitable organizations in names of players and this and that. Like they get together, they're known. They get together and like literally every game, there's like $1 million going into something, right?
Yeah.
And they, I would not be surprised. I'm sure I would bet my paycheck that these fans are going to pull together and do something in a positive way, regardless of what happens to this young man, because Buffalo's kind of known for that.
Yeah.
So just be on the lookout for that. They'll try to do something positive and give in any way that they can. I'm sure the NFL will do the same, but Buffalo does it on their own really well. So
yeah, they do. They call themselves the Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia.
They care about the city.
Yeah.
They care about the players. When that snow storm dropped, I don't know how many feet. They helped the players dig out of their car vehicles. Like I think it was one player had his entire pickup truck swallowed, and some of the Bills Mafia came and helped him out. Like that's the kind of fans they have. So it's just unfortunate that happened, and I hope it works out. I mean, I guess if there's anything anything else that happens, just let us know. I'm checking on social media, but right now it just says he's in critical.
Somebody put a link. A doctor talked about this on YouTube. I don't know. Let me, without you showing it, let me click on this link real quick and see. Yeah, somebody, Damar Hamlin collapsed on field. There's a doctor that's giving his, I guess, take on it or something is what that video is. But
all right. I mean, it's hard to know because none of us are there. And the NFL got their official statement out. They're just saying, tonight the Buffalo Bills game has been postponed. The NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, announced. Hamlin received immediate medical attention on the field by the team and independent medical staff. Again, the NFL has the best doctors in the country. So they trust me, the most
he's getting great care.
Yeah, the top doctors are waking up, or if they've been sleeping on it, they have to go to that hospital. They got to figure out what's going on. So they got to make sure this is a $14 billion business. They got to make sure that they're doing the best possible thing right now. He was tackling T. Higgins.
Yeah,
big dude.
Receiver. Yeah,
big dude. And T got him in the chest a little bit. Now it wasn't a head injury. First I thought maybe he got hit in the head, but when you watch it and he goes in a slow motion, you see he gets more of a chest impact compared to a head injury. But this is scary. And it's interesting too. Like you're talking about player safety. Tua Tagovailoa, how many different concussion protocols until you say, hey, you can't play for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
And is he still playing? I think he's going to play again.
He didn't play this last week. Because and then one guy, who knows? I mean, they've lost like 5 games in a row. They're not.
They need him.
They're looking really bad. So at this point, like I think they're still mathematically in it, but so they need to win this next week. But who knows? I mean, is that important? If one more hit,
and he looked really bad that last one, right? That was scary, and we all kind of moved on.
His
past
hands
it.
were kind of like
his brain was shut off. His brain, and that's the thing too about combat sports. When it's time to hang it up, when you realize that hey, you can't fight anymore, is how quickly your brain is shutting off due to trauma. Yeah. Where your brain is literally telling you, stop. You know what? I'm gonna shut off because this is too much battering. It's we're gonna not have this brain working. So anytime you even get touched in the chin, we're gonna turn off.
Yeah.
It's probably somewhat of a trauma to his chest. I agree with Dash and Poppy. He got hit really hard in the chest, but also we've seen worse hits and they pop back up and they move on to the next.
It's funny.
Play, right?
Well, it's with. I think with obviously I'm not a doctor. Okay, Hannibal and I are doctors.
No doctors here. No.
But one thing you hear doctors say, or you see certain things. The body is such a fragile thing on the inside, right? Think about something happens and doctors say, if it would have been a millimeter to the left, you would be dead or you would be paralyzed.
Yeah.
So things are very the bodies can be fragile, right? So we see a massive hit like Hannah. We've seen crazy. If you go on the internet and look up like crazy NFL hits, I mean, you'll see it. They're like, how's that guy even pop up? How is he not in the hospital for a week, right?
Yeah.
And you see something like this, kind of a routine play, but the helmet might hit a certain part of the chest, and his breathing pattern was a certain way, and he lost a breath, and then everything is kind of connected. So I just put the prayers up for him, and hopefully he's okay, and he could play again if he wants to or chooses to or whatever. And hopefully this is just kind of, you learn something from it as a league. I don't know what that would be, because it is a dangerous sport, but they're doing a lot I think they're doing a better job than ever before with protecting players in some regard. I think, a lot of us as fans, we get mad. Oh my God, he barely even touched the quarterback, or this or that, and all the flags and concussion protocol. Like, you got to be clear now. They are putting more measures than ever. You hear these old players that even just played in the early 2000s, and especially the OGs that played in the 70s, 80s. They like, we didn't have any of this. Like, we saw stars and we went right back in, right? Like, they talk about that, or they get them a certain shot, or they do this, they do that. I don't think they can really get away with that right now. But what else can they do? I don't know. I mean,
yeah, and that's why a lot of people say they may not like the direction the league is going, but there's been too much. It's been too many stories about players with really bad CTE and how it affects them later in life. Like, Junior Seau, what happened to him? Aaron Hernandez, he had a brain of a 7-year-old, yet he was in his 20s, to a point where he did a lot of fairly erratic behavior because his brain took too many hits. So, the game would be a little different. It's still gonna be violent. You're putting on your pads, you got your helmet, you're going really fast, and that's the thing too about NFL. The game is so quick. We don't necessarily understand it because we're watching on TV, but these are very strong, powerful men going 100 miles an hour after each other. Things, and it's interesting that it doesn't happen that often. It seems like a lot of this stuff happens, the crazy stuff happens in college and high school, where they're still trying to grow into their man bodies, if that makes sense. And most of them are not going to make it to the NFL. Some of them probably are pushing their bodies a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But man, it's a really sad one right now. And so if there's any other information, hopefully it only goes up from here. If that
it's can't imagine, man. Life is precious, Things happen quickly.
Yeah. And there was another story I wanted to I thought that would be the story, the sad story to talk about before we kind of talk about some of the fun stuff. But Gangsta Boo passed away. I'd say yesterday.
Really?
3-6 Mafia. Another one's sad, man. 43 years old, and we still haven't figured out how she died. If you guys are fans of 3-6 Mafia, Juicy J, DJ Paul, she was a really important part. I mean, tear the club up.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still play that song anytime, anytime.
If that doesn't get you hype, I don't know what will.
Yeah, Memphis representing, and it's unfortunate that she passed, and it's weird because she's 43, so it's like, okay, what happened? And she was 15 when she joined that group. Wow.
Jeez. 15.
15, just killing it.
Wow, that's crazy.
She definitely a legend, especially definitely in Memphis. But yeah, she passed, and we're still figuring out, okay, what happened? Who knows? It could be health. It could be definitely would seem like a surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah. 43 is like, it's just, I'm 41. 43 is too young. Fuck,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And I don't know if she was going through, if she had any issues, but yeah, that was rest in peace to her. But I don't know. So this year, I don't know, man. It's kind of going crazy. What do you think? I mean, let's see. How was your year so far? It's only been 2 days.
Has it been 2 days? Yeah, it's only been 2 days.
Right?
It's been fine. I mean, I'm getting ready to go on vacation here soon, so I'm kind of anxious about that. But it's been okay. We'll try to segue this, I guess, a little bit. We're talking football. So, yesterday wasn't great for me. The Bears lost to the Lions. And the Lions are, I'm kind of rooting for them to make the playoffs, actually. I hope they beat the Packers next week. Yeah. But the Bears have had a really, really odd year because Justin Fields has been very exciting
to watch. Is he hurt?
But
he's hurt, right?
I think he's been excited to watch, but the team's just been so bad. Yeah. But on a bright note, the New York Giants made the playoffs officially. Yeah. So you want to talk about that for a minute?
Well, you know what? As if there was any doubt, the New York Football Giants are going to the playoffs. And I remember at the beginning of the season, me and Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro was hating. He was like, "Hey, my Bears going to have more wins than your Giants. You piece of crap. You punk ass boy." I was like, "Why are you talking to me like this?" And he's like,
I didn't say punk ass boy. I would never call him a punk ass boy.
No. Oh, I don't remember. It was a lot of vitriol and hate. He's like, "Your team ain't going to do shit, dog." And I was like, "Why are you talking to me?" All right. And we never came up with a bet. But we kind of just went through it. But I should have made a really good bet.
We'll have to do something to embarrass me. Clearly, the Giants had a way better year than the Bears, so I have to at some point on a live do something to embarrass myself because I did lose the bet. So,
Hector, good question. Where is Nova?
Yeah, I know. What was it about I think about a month ago, I was like, the Giants could be in last place. And then all of a sudden,
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I say that, and it was like, there was a moment where it was the trend was there, and then the Commanders and then the Giants won.
You talked a lot of disrespect about the New York Football Giants, and a lot of disrespect for my quarterback, Danny Dimes. And do you have anything to say for yourself? I do appreciate you putting out that short, but do you have any more?
I did put out that short.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I just put it short out. I think that's good enough. I think Danny Dimes had a good year.
Yeah.
He had a great game. I mean, what do you have? 4 total touchdowns yesterday? I mean,
that's what he does.
Yeah. I mean, he's been an underrated runner. You call that in the beginning of the year. He's got several rushing touchdowns. He's had a good year. Barkley's regressed a little, but he's kind of coming back. So I think that's a good thing, good trend for them. They're going to need him in the playoffs.
I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. Like no serious injury.
They're gonna need to run the football. In the playoffs, you got to run the football because the Giants are a dynamic offensive passing team.
I don't know the names of the wide receivers. Like I don't know.
Slayton's the only one. And Ricky James. That's only 2 names that I know.
I think.
But I mean, they got an interesting, aggressive coach. I mean, right now, if anything, the Packers will probably beat the Lions. Tom Brady's in. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are going to be in the playoffs. Nobody wants to play those teams. I'm sorry. You just don't. Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts is hurt, Danny Dimes, Kirk Cousins, he's a fraud. I mean, nobody.
I've been told you to talk about Kirk Cousins. A lot of people still keep thinking that this guy he's a regular season quarterback. That's it. He makes tons of money. He teases people. He's like the hot chick, teases you like you're gonna have a great night with her. You talk to her and give you throw some game, and then she walks off with another person. That's what Kirk Cousins is, and they'll realize that eventually. Hopefully, Hector says, Nova bet me $100 that the Giants will have a better record. And he won the bet, and Nova's gonna pay.
Nova take.
Nova's gonna pay. He's a man of his word. He just probably. Actually, I feel like he was in here. Maybe he wasn't.
Look at Random Ryan, the comment of the night so far. I think he's spot on right here. The one right under that one. Read that one, Hannibal.
Danny Dimes is going to be the next Andy Dalton. Seems good, but he's going to.
You remember Andy Dalton? He led the Bengals to the playoffs. And he's in the league, but he sucks. I mean, he's not any good. Andy Dalton.
But as you and Ryan hate. Thank you, Bobby. Let's go. Let's really get deep into some analysis on how far the Giants will go in this playoff season, because I do believe they won the Super Bowl, winning 9 games one year.
I think they were 8-8. It was a team. They were 8-8. They won. Mm-hmm. They won 3 road games. They beat the Packers on the road and 2 other teams. But and that was with Eli Manning. So
okay. So let's see. And Bobby's saying they could take the Vikings. I mean, they only lost by 3. And it kind of similar when they lost to the Patriots one year when they won. Yeah. The Patriots is trying to get that perfect season going. They beat the Giants, but they beat them by a little bit of points.
Yeah.
So the Giants is possible that chance they may win everything. And I know you say that's not possible, But remember, you said they weren't going to make the playoffs. Then you said it was going to be the last team in the NFC. So
You want to just keep pouring salt on the man. I mean, I like it though. Listen, like I said today, and like I've told you in private, I'm gonna root for the Giants because of you. Because I want them to go far. Do I think it would happen? It's unlikely. I mean, if I'm a betting man, do I think they could win a game? Absolutely. Would I be shocked if they made it to the Super Bowl? No, because the NFC I don't think is that strong, especially if Jalen Hurts isn't 100%. I just don't.
Yeah.
Can't trust the Cowboys. You got the Packers and the Buccaneers, but they haven't really been good all year, either team, right?
Yeah.
And the Vikings, who knows? I mean, they could make it to the Super Bowl. They could lose in the first round to the Giants. So the NFC is kind of like anybody's for the taking, in my opinion. Yeah. So that's a good thing for the Giants.
Ryan says he'll win. He said, win everything Hannibal. What you got over there? Because I need some.
He got the good. Hannibal's got the good.
No, I'm talking a lot of shit. I did not think that they were going to go to the playoffs this year. I did not say that. I said they're going to have more wins than the Bears, but this was a total surprise. I did not say that they were going to. But I did like they had such a great start that propelled them into the playoffs. They were beating teams, and they kept saying the worst 6-1 team, but they needed those wins to realize, okay, when they probably they obviously scaled back, they had enough wins under the cushion to make it to the playoffs. Yeah. So and is Danny Dimes my quarterback? No, I'm still waiting for something. Like I'm still waiting for that magical
from him, or
what
else he won? He had 4 total touchdowns yesterday. That's about as good as he played. About as good as you can play.
The Colts suck, but I need him to do this too, like a really good team under the big lights. All right, you saw I don't know if you saw the game yesterday. The Ravens versus the Steelers. Did you watch that game?
No. I heard that the Steelers won, but I have not. I didn't watch the game.
It was a typical Steelers Ravens game.
Those games are always scoring. Very close.
They were fighting each other.
Yeah.
But the quarterback for the Steelers, Pickett, I think his name is
Kenny Pickett.
He's young. He's still trying to learn the ropes, and people still, obviously still they wanted him in to kind of, is he going to be the guy? And he took his team all the way down, clutch performance, throwing some really good passes.
Yeah.
In a national game, I think those kind of performances kind of obviously gives the quarterback a lot of experience, like confidence, and people start to believe, this is the guy.
You got to do it like on national TV, but the Giants don't play a lot of those games. That's part of the issue, right? You don't see them on Monday night a lot, Thursday night games. Like they're just not. But you see the Ravens and Steelers because they're kind of a big draw and it's a great rivalry. But you're right. You need Danny Dimes doing that on a Monday night to the Cowboys.
And if he can do that,
you know what I'm saying?
It will turn everything around. Because that's the reason why Eli stayed as long as he had. There's some games he was terrible. But every once in a while, when it mattered the most, he took his, Down syndrome self and just started throwing bombs at everybody and beating everyone, beating the best teams in the world with that dumb look on his face.
Well, Danny Dimes kind of has a similar, he does. It's just like they're like kind of expressionless a little bit. And they're just like, they look like they went to like some Ivy League school and they just wear khakis and a button up, and they do. And they're just kind of like vanilla.
Quarterbacks are nerds, though. Like, you have to be.
Not all quarterbacks.
Well, you got your Joe Namath stuff. He was out there slanging, getting broads and then winning games. But most of them, like your Tom Brady's, he's kind of cool, but he's a nerd. Peyton Manning, because you have to spend all day learning this damn playbook better than anyone.
Yeah. I think the cool quarterbacks tend to be. I mean, is this a hot take? Are the nerds the white guys besides Josh Allen? Josh Allen's kind of not a nerd, right? But like, and all the brothers are kind of Jalen Hurts, Michael Vick, Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes kind of goofy. Russell Wilson, he's goofy. So
he's a goof. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because you have to and then the problem is Kyler Murray don't want to be a nerd, but you got to study to a point where they're like, can you please study?
He plays video games, so maybe he is a nerd.
The unproductive nerd, like Peyton Manning probably spent thousands of hours of studying time, right? Like he's put so much effort. You can't be cool. You're not going out. You got to spend all.
Well, I think you're right about Tom Brady too, though. But when you win as much as Tom Brady has won, you become cool because he walks in the room and instantly. You got all these guys in the league now, right? They got they're all cool and stuff, and they see Tom Brady like, oh my God, I watched him when I was like 5. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm playing against them. So when you win 7 Super Bowls, you automatically kind of have swag. It just, you walk in a room, it comes with it, you know.
Definitely. Hector says that the Giants win the Super Bowl does.
Oh, hell. Hector, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. I'll wear a jersey. I ain't getting a tattoo. Get out of here.
Over $250,000 have been donated to Damar Hamlin's toy.
I told you, and I bet that's the Buffalo fans right now.
Oh,
I
guarantee
it. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm checking to see if there's anything updated, some positive news of anything.
So somebody put Pia put in the chat that Skip Bayless updated his tweet. I don't know if you can pull that up.
All right, let's see.
He updated it or did another one, or he did
you could tell it was like recent. It was 43 minutes. We still didn't know what was going on, but even then he should have not done that. Like even then he should have
picked it up and just automatically just
the game is really important, guys. No, man, this is not the time. And the problem is he lives his whole life in this sports. This is his life. But you realize not everyone has our lives. When something of this magnitude happens, it doesn't matter. It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game. So let's see what this goofball finally said. If I can find it. Well, I see in January. He just deleted it.
He deleted it. I do not like.
Yeah, he did. Wait. No. I'm trying to look at.
Okay.
Okay. Let me check to see if you guys. I'm gonna try to make it a little bigger so you guys can read it. Okay. So Okay, you're talking about LeBron.
2 hours. One. Not exactly sure what happened to players on both teams. Were shaking. Ambulance on the field. Here, you read it. You're better.
This is an hour. It's an hour, and that's not the one. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is a stupid thing he said. Then 20 minutes later, nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. But you structure it stupidly. You put the most important part at the end when it should have been the beginning. He kind of said it's irrelevant.
I prayed for him, and Skip Bayless. Shannon Sharp's gonna rip you a new ass tomorrow, and I'm probably gonna watch it because Shannon's gonna get in that ass tomorrow. I'll tell you that right now. Being a former player, Shannon's gonna give it to his boy.
And he should and Skip shouldn't say a word. Just take it. But that's the problem with how the news cycle is. Gotta have a hot take. You gotta say something right now. You can't wait. Can't wait. Like, no, how about you wait?
Shannon said something?
Yeah, just saying, and that was an hour ago. And he said NFL doesn't have a manual on how to proceed.
That's all you got to say.
Learn to be better.
Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp's a little animated, but I like
his pro. He's animated. Yeah, him talking about LeBron being the GOAT. I'm like, just talk about football. You sound like a fool. He's the GOAT. Go to what?
But I like the what's this whole thing? Uncle Shay.
Oh, Uncle Shay.
He has Uncle Shay. He's got the hen dog. He's got the Hennessy. He's got the dude's like 70 and he looks amazing.
Oh, he's ripped. He's ripped.
He's in better shape now than he was when he played. When he played, he was a big guy.
Yeah,
but it's crazy, man.
I would recommend checking out. He had a really good interview with Deion Sanders.
I saw some of that.
Really good, because they both. He said, "I talk to you once a week." Like Shay talks to everyone once a week. It looks like he's a really popular dude. But Skip is gonna have another big day tomorrow with ratings and shit. I mean, that's just how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. But what else? What else we want to go into, man? This situation kind of.
I think it was important for us to talk about it, and I'm glad you kind of brought it up. I didn't know it was going on. Extremely unfortunate news, but I think we have to, we talk about sports on this channel, so I think it would be, it'd be a little bad for us not to bring it up and see what you guys think and send some vibes out to him and his family and just, think about what's important tonight. You know what I mean? We sit here and we're dissecting this and sports and a football game and playoffs and the Giants won and the Bears sucked. Man, all that shit really don't matter.
Once I saw what was happening, I was like, man, it's not. You realize this is just not there. Pia is dropping some old information because I'm looking and she's getting fast and I am. Update on Damar. Vitals back to normal. They put him to sleep with a breathing tube down his throat.
So that's a really good sign. I think that right. I would say that's a good update.
Well, you want your vitals to come back to normal. Yeah. Hopefully there's no permanent brain damage because when If they're putting that much time in CPR, that's the one thing I'm worried about. But as long as he makes it, man, because that's what it all. As long as it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Peter said per his marketing rep, man, Hamlin's got a marketing rep. Man, these players really got.
I think they all got somebody. It could be official, but he was a popular dude. I mean,
Nova's here. Let's Nova.
You bother with Nova.
What up, Nova? It's been a rough couple weeks for you and me, man.
It's
the Bears lost to the Lions. Looks like the Commanders are done, right? I think they're done.
If Snyder can sell the team, things will improve. And it's not like Snyder didn't want to win. I think Snyder wanted to win. Snyder spent a lot of money. It's kind of similar to James Dolan and the Knicks.
Yeah,
they don't want to spend the money.
Some of these guys they get in their own way. They don't know what they don't know, and their egos are so big they won't put more talented people around them, smarter people in their rooms to help them run their organizations, and that's why they don't have a measure of success that they'd like to have, I think.
Yeah, and I think and also Daniel Snyder's been running he's been a terrible person. A lot of sexual issues. At least James Dolan he seems like a kid that got a lot of money from his father, and he was just a dick. But you don't see any kind of. Actually, he may have had some sexual harassment stuff going on. But I think that was one with the coach. Were they Isaiah Thomas when he was there? There was some weird stuff going on. But the problem is he loved Isaiah Thomas, and that's a problem too. When some of these owners, they act like fans, and it's like, I get Isaiah Thomas to run my team, even though he's not been great and he's been terrible for the players.
Yeah.
So I think once they get rid of the team, and he's gonna make so much money. They already talking about $4 billion, like $4 billion. Well, it's a Washington team. If it's the Redskins, I would, but it's the Commanders. That should drop. That should drop some percentage points. Like, I'm not going to pay this much for the Commanders. They make a lot
because of their merchandising. So I think they had a bump in merchandising, but because of the new jerseys and the names, and all the fans are going to buy the new stuff, and whatever. But the Washington team's been always with the merchandising and all that. They've always been one of the tops. And they've been in the league a long time. When I had Joe Gibbs, I think they won 3 Super Bowls or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So I listen. I think a lot of these owners. You mentioned these owners. You got in trouble for this or sexual assault. Listen, man. I think a lot of these owners just don't get caught. I think a lot of men in these positions of power like that, whether you're running a Fortune 500 or you're an Applebee's manager or you're working it, men tend to abuse power. I think often. And I think some get caught, some don't. But that's just my opinion on that.
I think especially for Daniel Snyder, there's just been a culture of incompetence, failure. They didn't have a quarterback. The last quarterback that was going to bring everything together was supposed to be RG3, but RG3 destroyed his leg.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out. And then they had Kirk Cousins. they at one point they had RG3 and Kirk Cousins on the team.
No, they drafted him in the same year, Hannibal. RG3 was the first round, and I think they took Cousins in the 3rd or 4th round. I mean, they drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks.
They should have just kept Cousins. Because what happened after Cousins? Was it Alex Smith after Cousins?
Smith played for a little bit. They had... They've had a lot of quarterbacks. They're one of the.
I was going to say Jason Campbell. I'm like, that's way.
Well, no, they had him, but that's way back. I was thinking Jason Campbell, but they had. We're missing a few guys. They obviously had the Tyler Heineke last year. This year, Wentz was this year, right?
Oh yeah, Wentz was.
That guy sucks, man. Wow.
PSS, stop laughing at our team.
But they had, man, we're missing a guy. They had one guy.
Nova Dasher. Who else they had? So
Nova
they had
Nova.
Was it Alex Smith after Cousins and what went down there? We're probably missing one.
They had somebody before Alex Smith.
Oh, okay. So Mark Sanchez at one point. Fitzpatrick. Who didn't have Ryan Fitzpatrick on their team?
He's played for like 20 teams. Yeah. Legit.
Yeah, like I don't think he played with the Giants, but I think he definitely played for the Jets though.
Jets. He started.
Colt McCoy. Shout out! I remember a lot of people was like Colt McCoy is going to do something. Josh Johnson.
I remember Josh Johnson.
And PS says this is depressing, but you know what? Listen. You won more games than the Bears. The Bears won like what? 3 games.
Listen,
were they even 0. in the league?
We won Hannibal. We might as well have lost no games. We got 0 wins. It doesn't matter, 0 or 3. I'd rather have 0. So
yeah. But you know what? All the Commanders fans that are in the chat who are gonna be checking out this video afterwards, jump on the Giants bandwagon for this playoff run. You have something to root for. Root for my happiness that we're going to go and probably make it all the way. And it's funny that y'all laughing about this, and it may happen. Either they're going to get blown out or they're going to win the whole thing. First game get blown out by 30 or they're going to win the whole thing. That's just how it's going to
Listen, I think they're equally likely. We can lose by 30 to the Vikings because the Vikings and Justin Jefferson would be pissed off.
Oh, yeah. He got shut down.
Justin got shut down. He's mad. He did not look good. He had 1 catch.
They made it seem like the dude, that cornerback, I forgot his name, which he does really good.
Jair Alexander, yeah.
It wasn't just him. No. But it made it seem like he locked him down. Like, first of all, he was never on the island. Was he on the island with him?
Oh no, they were on the island. No. I watched that game yesterday because I have Justin Jefferson on my fantasy. So the first game they played, they opened up the season, and Justin Jefferson had like 13 catches, 200 yards, and like 2 touchdowns.
Right.
And Jair Alexander wasn't lined up with him a lot, right? Because of the coverages. But this week, Jair said, "I want to be on him more." He told the coaches that. He goes, I want to shut this guy down. I'm the best corner in the league. You know how these corners are. They're
they're basically the same as wide receivers, and just for defense.
They just can't catch, but they're a little more athletic in some regards, right? So he showed up. I mean, he was on him a lot. He was pressing him at the line. A couple batted balls. He did the gritty on him. So there was a pass that and then he grittied. He gritted on. Jair.
So he didn't have coverage. Up top, that if something went wrong,
sometimes naturally you did, but there were times they were 1-on-1, and Jair got in his head. I think is what happened.
Damn, and Justin Jefferson is a beat. He's not a scrub, Al. He's probably the top.
He's the top guy.
3. He's top 2.
Easily top 3. A lot of people have him number 1. If you look, he's got the most yards this year. He's on pace to break the record. If he would have got 100 this past week, he could still break. If he gets like 220 this coming up week, he breaks the NFL single season record for receiving yards in his 3rd year. So he can still do that. He's been that good.
I hope that Kirk Cousins throw 5 picks, and it's possible. Kirk Cousins, we have seen him completely melt down. That's the one thing I am worried about Josh Allen. Of course, he's nowhere. He's not as bad. He's not in the same league as with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is trash. But Josh Allen, for some reason, when it's really, really time to win, he loses in the most dramatic 1.1 second, one bad decision way. Like he doesn't get blown out or anything. It's like, why do you always lose in such a dramatic fashion? Typical Bills, like they should have won like last year. How the Chiefs came back to win that game?
Yeah, I think we have a troll in here. Humble Canadian is put. I don't know what they got going on here. I don't know if that's true or not. But if you're coming in here trying to troll, just leave. Thank you. They're saying,
well, hold on. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean,
you can look it up, but I don't know. I
haven't seen any official word on that yet. I know, like I said, Twitter's crazy. If you go on Twitter, you're on even Facebook. Like someone's like, "Oh, he that happened." Like, no, you don't know that happened yet.
Yeah.
So hold right now.
Troll.
Yeah, let's see. Nothing that I've seen. If anything, update. Of course, you guys will definitely.
They were talking about another player. Listen, he's in critical condition. No, listen. I just we'll.
Yeah, and now some of the conversations about playing or not playing, like we already talked about that before, and that's a question I was going to ask you before they kind of suspended the game. If you were, you're a professional player and something dramatic like that happened on your with your teammate, doesn't matter what sport, basketball, football, the team sport, something like that happens. What are you telling the coach? What are you telling the officials? Are you saying I can't play, or?
It's a good question, man. I'm going to give you kind of a 2-part answer. Okay, I'm not gonna, because I think there's a lot here. If my brother, right? If I'm in NFL locker room and we're doing all this together, that's family. Yeah. That's my brother, right? That's how a lot of these guys look at each other. But if I see that happen to my brother, and I know he's not like in a good situation, and I don't want to play, right? But I got a job to do. So if the game goes on, I'm not going to tell my coach I'm not playing. I'm not going to refuse, because if anything, I want to go out. I want to go back on that out on that field for him. I want to win that game. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm, if I know he's going to live, it's just like a really bad injury, but he's like responsive, but like, they had to do some things, but then he's responsive. Oh, I want to fucking play. Yeah. Then I want to go out there and I'm amped. So I want to win for him. Right. I want to call him and text him that night. We did it for you, man. Like, I'm coming to see you tomorrow. Like, but if he's unresponsive all the way and I see my guy get carted off and his eyes aren't even with me, it'd be tough to play. I hope that answered your question. I don't know. But.
No, at least it's not as like I think some people say they should play. You don't want to seem like you're a heartless person, that you don't care about the person. But NFL, and it's a war, it's a battle. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like you see one man down, you don't say, well, let's quit. We got to win it for him. Yeah. And we could turn it around. But I think NFL made a good decision. If they continue to play, who knows how the game would have kind of came together.
We've seen players, Marquise Goodwin, wide receiver. At the time, he was playing for the 49ers. I believe he's with Seattle right now. He's an sprinter, like track athlete in college, super fast wide receiver. His son died, and he the day before, and he played the NFL game, scored a touchdown. Brett Favre Brett Favre died, and he goes to Monday Night Football.
Balls out of control.
Some people, we have to understand, they deal with things, crisis and trauma. They deal with it differently. They look at it like, hey, my father or my son would have wanted me to play. So I think it's, there isn't a right or wrong way to handle situations. You do the best that you can. Yeah. But this situation is very obviously, something like this never happened. So it's tough,
Yeah, it's tough. And, this kind of supersedes a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about. But it's hopefully on next, Wednesday, we'll have more information about this. Yeah. We originally I was gonna throw in your face about the Giants. I kind of did a little bit of that, and we was gonna actually talk about some of our surprise music that we enjoy. So I guess
we'll do that Wednesday. We could do that Wednesday.
We would do it Wednesday, and I want to talk about this thing. We could probably talk about really quick about what Michelle Obama said about Barack. And I thought it was really interesting how she said it. And, a little tease, but she said, I couldn't stand Barack for 10 years because, and we'll show the clip, that I was at home with the kids. And I felt that's a very interesting way of saying that. She's a smart woman. I don't know if she was hyperbolic. It's possible. Sometimes you're hyperbolic, but I have some thoughts on that comment. Basically was saying is Barack is out doing his thing, and I'm at home with the kids.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stand him because basically he wasn't helped enough. And it's interesting because I'm assuming that Barack probably told her from the jump that he is going to politics. I mean, he was
going to be president or senator and all that. Yeah. So.
This doesn't just happen. Like a lot of this, you building this up for. I think he was a young man, meaning so he probably finished graduate school and immediately said, "All right, well, let me see. I could be I'm a community organizer." You kind of build that up. So I have a lot to say on that topic there. So I'm sure, obviously you're going to have a lot to say about that.
I've seen the topic. I think she was being interviewed by some other women or something.
Yeah, like Angie Martinez was in there, and a couple
you
other.
Have the clip? You're going to play it?
Yeah, I have the clip. I don't know if I have it on me now. Because I was actually still trying to put the stuff together, but we'll put it out for Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay.
Yeah, we'll have that on Wednesday. We'll so we'll have a long conversation, but I know that could be a 15, 20 minute conversation
with you and I. Yeah, for sure. Like that's
I'm like, you could 10 years, but imagine that like you married with someone for a long time, and your wife's like, for 10 years I couldn't stand you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
what? Excuse me, weren't we just in the White House? What? Bitch, you crazy?
You think you may have realized, or at least said, I couldn't stand you, but I realized I made a big mistake. But anyway, I don't want to ruin all the complaining I'm going to be doing. But yes, Nova Dasher. A very interesting choice of words indeed.
Yeah.
That's the least we can say.
Shout out to Barack. Barack is the coolest president we've ever had. I think that's a fair, that's a fair thing to say.
I'll go rock with that.
Definitely,
how effective he was, we can always debate on that one.
That could be different. I think that could, we could go round and round. But,
I would say how effective of a president is what happens when he leaves.
Sure, and not a lot happened when he left.
Yeah, right? Things went kind of
positive.
Yeah. So, but we don't care about that politics shit. But I'm looking at it as a relationship thing and career. We kind of talked about with like the Tom Brady situation where it looks like it ruined his marriage. I have some thoughts on that one. So, but on that note, appreciate you guys coming in. I know this wasn't the most happiest episode, but listen, we prayers for Damar Hamlin and his family. Obviously the Bills organization, but just Damar as a man, a father, a brother, a son. So hopefully all that works out for him.
Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully I can figure out what's going on with my mic. I've been fighting with this shit all episode. It doesn't want to focus. Doesn't matter. The good looking guy is fully clear. So, we still able to keep the viewers watching. But on that note, guys, have a great night and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Peace.